My name is Ross Sanzucci. Company I have is 3D Roomscapes. I'm in Grays Lake, Illinois, which is the northern near the Wisconsin border. And I've been doing this with 360 Tours for the last couple of months now with a project for a whole village that I set up with them. We did a 360 panorama of the downtown village center that they have, and got it from satellite panorama from about 600 feet up, and it shows the entire business district that they want to promote. And then we're selling, assets, as you showed, to the different merchants. And right now we're just going through all the village properties, the fire station, the youth center, awesome, the libraries, and we're doing 360 tours and drone videos of all those and highlighting them on the map, and then we're going to sell space on the map to all the merchants in the town. So
great. Tell us more. I've been talking about a hypothetical for historic Dahlonega.com, but you're actually doing it. So tell us more about your project, Ross, that you're using 360 Tours is the platform for this.
Well, that's basically it. I mean, we approached them with the idea, and it just happened to be the village manager and the Chamber of Commerce were working on a project to start marketing this specific area of their community. They call it the village center. I just happened to walk in at the right time with this idea, and because I had gone into town and scanned a couple of local businesses that I knew were popular, a local restaurant and a sports medicine location. And I showed it to the village manager and the Chamber of Commerce president, and they thought it was a great idea. So we just started going from there, and we got a bunch of drone video done and put them together with the Matterport tours of the properties that we did, and we got their own custom domain, and we actually created our own website because they wanted a static front page, which was a picture of the 360 tour map that we were creating. And then when they clicked on that, it opened up into the 360 tour with their custom domain. And so we've been awesome doing all that. I have a couple requests, but I mean, I'm sure you hear a million
before your request, because I'm just fascinated that you're actually doing this, Ross. So stay with me here on this. So I would imagine you did not need to go see the local town elders, mayor, head of, etc., but you chose to do so. Did you have an ask for them did you want money? Did you want help?
Actually, I'm giving them a percentage of all the sales, of 10% of all the sales. And
so you've motivated the town team to help encourage local businesses to get on the map.
Exactly. So they're sending out letters, they're sending out emails, letting them know what's coming. We just had their website go live today. So now is when we're going to start promoting it to all the different merchants. I have a sales rep that goes out and they gave us a list of everybody that's in this area, this village center area. And they wrote everybody a letter, and they're promoting it. They're putting it on their links to all their websites, which they have multiple websites. So, and they're using it as a promotional tool for just like what you've talked about.
Great. So who creates, excuse me, who creates the content? Matterport, aerial, photos?
I'm doing it right now.
Way to go, Ross.
I'm looking for, and we're charging, a fee to go in and to the merchants and actually do the Matterport and the drone, whatever they want. We've got different packages. But then there's a monthly fee to be on the map, which is, a set fee based on how long they want to be on it. And, I'm looking for the reoccurring revenue. I tell my sales guy, the number I'm looking for is a small number that they're going to pay monthly. I want as many people paying that. So if I have to, negotiate down doing a Matterport or whatever, I mean, I'll do it for $50, but I want them to pay that monthly fee.
Yeah.
So
That's awesome. Is it too soon to share your the website for this?
it's no, I can share it. I just got the website. Hold on, I gotta.
Okay. You mind if I call up the screen and we share it?
No, go ahead. It's grayslakevillagecenter.com.
GRE.
GRAYSLAKE, Grace Lake Village Center,
ER.
CENTER, villagecenter.com.
Okay. Bear with me one sec. This is cool. Bear with me. And Ross, thank you for Ross in Chicago, near Chicago. Thank you for your patience here, because I just we've been talking literally about what you've been described, what you're doing, and so I just think this would be a great thing for us to go off and take a look at. So this is the landing page for Grays Lake Village Center. Again, that website, Grays Lake Village Center. And then I would imagine I could click on this.
Correct.
And we see Grays Lake Village Center. Look at this. Isn't this really exciting?
So
Looks great, Ross.
I have a question. I saw on the you were just showing us something that had a red line drawn around like an area.
Uh-huh.
You know what I'm talking about?
I do. Yeah, that last example. Yeah.
And they wanted something similar done with this. I couldn't figure out how to do it, so I put these red dots around there. If you look at
Sure.
showing the area that is their village center. How do I make that a solid line like you did?
So there's basically at this moment only one way to do it, and it would be to take the image that you already are using, the 360 pano, and bring it into something like Photoshop and manually draw it around. That example that we're showing, that's what was done there. It's it's in the image. And it's easy to do, especially in the new version of Photoshop, where you can move the panorama around and adjust. It's really easy to draw on top of it. That's one way, and that's really kind of the best way to do it right now. There are opportunities that we're exploring or we'll look into about potentially building in tools that could do that, but at the moment that's the way.
So I see you're clicking on stuff here, Dan. Those drones up above. We're in the process of doing an overall video of the business district of the village center district, and that will be attached to all those drones then, so they can see it. If they want an overall view of everything from the drones.
Great. Thank you for letting us look at this, even while it's really under development to some extent. I imagine what you were asking Ross about, you presently put red dots, I would imagine, to define.
That's the boundaries of their village center.
And that's what you'd like to do, what we saw Ross.
Right, with a solid red line.
Solid red line.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah, and that would be pretty easy for you to do, and even easy for you to do. And then just replace it right in here. All the pins will stay in the same place.
Yeah, I love this. So imagine every digital asset here is monthly recurring revenue or annual recurring revenue that Ross over time is just collecting however you're collecting your money. And I want to say you've completely made your competitors irrelevant in this historic district. There's nobody that's going to compete with you, because if they want to be on the map, you need to create the content. Is that right?
Correct.
Yep.
Well, actually, I am offering them to be on the map if I don't. In other words, they may already have a 360 tour. They may already have a drone video. Mm-hmm. They may already have a little commercial website that they want to put on. I'll put that on there for them. I have a fee to set it all up and create a page for them, and then I'll link it to the map. And it's a small fee, and then the monthly fee, just like everybody else. Mm-hmm. If you want to, because if you want to be promoted on the map, so yeah. They don't have to hire me to do anything other than put them on the map.
Yeah, even frankly, even better. It sounds like you'd be thrilled if someone else was shooting all the photos, videos, Matterport spaces. You're happy to do that, but if somebody else was shooting it, you're really into it for the monthly recurring revenue anyway.
exactly.
Yeah. All right.
And then,
Fantastic.
and if this works, we plan on rolling this out to the other communities in the area. So,
This is awesome. Do you have other questions for Ross and Lorenzo?
um, well, I know this one. I've created tons of those little markers, probably 30 of them, and I've created a new one for each business that comes on because it just has their name on it. And I know that probably I shouldn't have started it that way, but I did, and that's what they wanted. So now I'm creating all of these little markers. I wish I had a folder to put them all in because there's going to be hundreds of them, or a folder for each different community, where I don't have to have a separate account, but I can have a folder that says this one being Grays Lake, and then I have a folder when I click on it opens up all the assets for Libertyville, the next community, or whatever the communities are. That's something that would really help me in this whole project going forward.
So some means of categorizing your custom icons.
The custom icons, exactly, and actually the whole tour, the whole project. This project being the village of Grays Lake. My next project will be the village of whatever.
Yeah.
And if I could, right now you seem to have to combine everything, and you have to keep looking for the different. Or if I could have a separate home page for each. I don't know if that makes sense to you or not, but
No, it makes sense. You want some sort of almost like an icon tag or something that categorizes it to a given tour or panorama or something, and then you can just select from the icons that you've tagged to that specific tour, if that makes sense.
right.
Some way to, I guess, just manage when you get into multiple, even 100 or something, some way to manage it.
Right, exactly. And
Yeah.
this one, they have businesses that are outside of this village center. This is a strange community. So, but they didn't want to include them, even though you can see them on the main panorama. They didn't want to include them if they weren't inside the red dots. So I had to create a second page, which is amazing merchants outside of, also in Grays Lake. And that's another link. We had to design the whole webpage because they didn't want that to be too prominent. It was very political. So.
Gotcha.
Okay.
I'm making a note here.
Around with that.
I want to flip the questions here. Normally we'd have the studio audience, I think, ask the panelists questions, but I think Ross, Lorenzo, you have this like amazing person in Ross who's like living your vision. What kind of questions do you have for him?
Yeah, so my questions are, well, one, it seems to be, and we've heard this before, that people want to have some sort of recurring revenue. And a big question of mine is are our clients happy to do that outside of 360 tours, or would it be something that they would want included in 360 tours? In other words, if we built some means for you to charge people who were included inside of, say, a tour or something, if that would be beneficial, or if it's would just be wasted work.
I think it would be definitely beneficial because right now I have to create a whole other system just to collect the money.
Yeah. So if there was some way,
Dan's familiar with that, but it's if it were built in, you probably have a better idea, Dan.
Me, if I personally was doing it, because I'm not a technical person, I use the combination of and I should thank you, Ross, because I know you're a We Get Around Network standard member, and you actually get the free use of 360 tours, and we send you we charge you automatically every month using Moonclerk, MOONCLERK.com, sitting on top of Stripe, which actually collects the money. For a non-programming person, I'm a non-programming person, Moonclerk lets me interact with Stripe so that I can create any plan, any amount. Do I want an amount charged up front? Is there a monthly recurring revenue? Is it quarterly recurring? Does the first bill show up on the first day? Does it show up on the first of the month? So Moonclerk lets a non-technical person easily, quickly, and seamlessly create plans and amounts for monthly recurring revenue. That's personally how I would do it. And it automatically charges your credit card. And then recently, we're not presently doing it, but if you wanted to give people, let it charge automatically through ACH to charge directly to their bank account, you could literally do that through Moonclerk now.
Yeah, that would be a great solution from a manual approach, which is, I'm sure, something you're doing, Ross, or something along those lines where you're managing these payments in some other capacity. I think what Lorenzo was asking is, would it be worth, is it something worth exploring to potentially build that into 360 Tours where somebody could, we're just spitballing here, but they could add themselves or request to be added, and if they were, then some of that payment processing could be built in or something. I
think it would be definitely beneficial, at least for the way I'm using the platform.
I wonder though, because I would imagine, Ross, that you may be charging different, you want to have the ability to charge different merchants different amounts. For example, you might charge nonprofit galleries one price, you might charge restaurants another price, and you might have someone that has a video versus a Matterport space versus photos, and you may have different things that you charge a different amount based on the digital assets or how many digital assets that you include. So I personally, I just wonder in Ross and Lorenzo's behalf that I'm not sure that you could capture all the different permutations of how somebody might do this.
But if you could, it would be great.
Yeah.
I see what you're saying, Dan.
Yeah.
I think you're right. There's a lot of different things you're going to charge.
Yeah.
And Ross, are you the only one adding content to these tours?
Right now.
Okay. Yeah.
This is my guinea pig.
Yeah. Lorenzo, were you thinking about a way to in this particular scenario, other people, if I was doing it, I don't think I'd want other people adding digital content. I'd want to be in control of what got on the map rather than.
I'm thinking of it in terms of Ross's position and wanting to make this passive income off of this work, and these businesses being willing to, in the community, being willing to pay for this to be included in almost this like network or however you want to use it. It's basically, he's passing on the subscription service to them. And it's always nice to be able to do that in one place, right? Like to just go in and say like, okay, I've built out this tour and 360 tours. And now I'm going to go around the community. I'm going to knock on some doors and say, hey, would you like to be included? You would? Okay. Well, I'm going to sign you up, and the membership for you is however, whatever you set it at. Maybe you have a 5-tier plan or a 10-tier plan or a 2-tier plan. I don't know. But then that is all black box behind 360 tours, and Ross can just concentrate on adding people and not the billing and the maintenance of having people being included.
Yeah.
It's interesting. All right. So at least that's a good thing for you all to think about. Whether Lorenzo, Ross, were there other questions for Ross in terms of what he's doing?
Well, I guess just globally, I'd just love to, do you feel like it's being well? I guess it just launched today, but what's the initial impression? Are you getting any feedback?
Well, I haven't. Yeah, we just launched today, and the only feedback I'm getting from is the village, and they love it. So,
well, but it sounds like what we heard announced today about Google Analytics, that may be interesting, because all those different businesses, if you wanted, you'd be able to know how many times people looked at it, how long they looked at that particular digital asset.
Yeah, you'll be able to tell which markers people are actually clicking on. So
yeah, and we're going to use that when we sell this to the merchants. You'll be able to see the analytics, and
yeah,
we're going to be using that as a selling tool.
Good.
I do have a request though too, and I sent this in, and I'm assuming it's just something that I don't even know if it can be done, but I mistakenly deleted this tour about a week ago, which wasn't too big of a deal because I hadn't had that much on there yet. But so I was able to just recreate it. But you don't have any kind of a backup where you can, if somebody makes a mistake like that, like I did, and deleted the wrong tour, the wrong panorama, you don't have a way to recover that.
We do have backups, certainly, and they happen on a regular basis. But I think because Lorenzo and I talked about this a little bit. You know, there's kind of two challenges. One is we have we put an alert up that says, hey, are you sure you want to delete this? And then at that point, if you do delete it, it does. So there's there's this mini fail safe in front of it saying like, hey, are you sure? And then beyond that, if something, our backups are really meant for like a catastrophe situation where we can go back 24 hours or a week or whatever to restore the system. But it's a sort of an undelete is challenging. I'm hoping I'm describing this well enough to understand that issue of,
It's an oops button.
Yeah, but if you always stored an oops button for everything, we would never have any. It would grow and grow and grow. So trying to determine when you actually would save, and do you have a better way of describing that, Lorenzo?
I don't know about a better way to describe it. We do, I can say this, what we do have is we have a data export and import, which will allow you to pull a CSV describing all of the tours that you've made. Now that doesn't specifically, it doesn't allow you to pull out the images that you've made. So you'd have some extra work in trying to restore something that you've deleted, and that you would have to go reassociate the image with it and things like that. We do nightly backups. So in the event that there was, if you really had a problem where you had spent, 200 hours. I remember specifically your case. You're like, well, I only spent a few hours. It'll be, a pain in the rear, but I can recover this. If it was something that was, grandiose, and for whatever reason your intern or something goes on there and destroys it, we could actually restore that. But it's just not a simple task at this point, and we haven't gotten a tremendous number of requests to do that sort of thing. So there's not a lot of initiative on our part to go in and create that system. And then of course, there's a lot of technical reasons why you wouldn't want to do that. If you just think about it, if you say like, okay, well, you can delete stuff, but nothing is ever actually deleted, you start to accumulate a real large mass of data very quickly, especially with images and stuff. And then in turn, we have to back all of that stuff up too.
Could I make a suggestion, which I think would solve Ross's question and maybe not overwhelm you all, which is, the oops button only works at the tour level. It's not an individual digital asset. It's a tour. And that maybe gives you either 24 hours or 7 days to restore back to what you had or to return it back. I mean,
in a short period of time, like a week.
I could see that if you have a lot of tours and you accidentally delete the wrong tour, which I think we heard Ross do, had you given him an opportunity for a day or 2 days or a week, that perhaps wouldn't overburden you from having to store it forever and a day. And we're not talking about storing the oops button for every digital asset, because you delete one digital asset, that's not the pain factor of I've deleted the entire tour by accident.
Yeah. Yeah, I understand.
All right, let's raise your hands if you want this feature, Ross. All right, 50% of those on the screen.
Right.
100% of your customers.
Yeah. Well, just know that we whenever a feature request comes in, we do make note and we do pay attention, and we, it's on the list. If we started building every single thing that everybody said, we'd just spiral. So we pay attention and we listen and we see, go, geez, that sounds a little bit like what this person was saying. That sounds a little bit like that. What if this was that? And so it hasn't fallen on deaf ears, Ross. That's for sure. We're paying attention, and we'll see if there isn't something we can come up with in a future release.
I like it. An oops button for tour level.
All
right, maybe I'll submit that one too, Ross, and we'll just keep loading up the queue or something. we'll lobby the queue or whatever. Ross, just outside of Chicago, again, talk. What other questions? I mean, you got the developers here. These are the two people that developed what you are using to build a business. And in your mind, you're not just doing one historic district. You have a vision for doing this in many places. First, have a success in one place, and then take that success and do it elsewhere. What power features would you want that would help you succeed faster with your business plan, with your vision?
You know, I don't think there's anything that I can think of with 360 tours that I could, you know, make it faster for me. It's a pretty slick platform, and it's pretty easy to add assets. It's, you know, it's pretty simple to add new icons, and, you know, just organizing of them is important to me. It's going to be important. Right now, it's not a big deal because it's the main one I'm working on.
All right. Well, I think this is good. I mean, to me, that's a power user feature to say I'm creating, you know, not dozens but hundreds, if not thousands, of digital stuff that I need to keep organized.
No, it's great feedback, and that's something that we'll definitely prioritize on the list, because I can see the need for that, especially as your business grows. Because we want to make it as one of the goals of 360 tours is to make it as quick and painless to put a tour together and to link all of your digital assets together in one place. And to scroll through hundreds of icons. I've had to do that on projects, and it's not fun.
The way I'm keeping each individual business or now the government offices or properties together is I'm creating a the WP 3D model for each one of them.
Mm-hmm.
And just linking that's what's linked to their little icon on the panorama.
That's great, because then you're getting the traffic for that too. Yeah.
Right. So it's all the assets are put together there. There's a little blurb, you know, that's what each one is linked to.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's perfect.
I forgive me, but the promotion person in me just has to say, and Ross, you get the free use of WP 3D Models WordPress plugin as a standard member. So
exactly.
Yeah. Thank you for taking advantage of the membership benefits.
It's a free business, you know. It's all free.
It's all free. Yeah, it's fantastic.
You guys, I apologize. I think Lorenzo and I both have something we have to be at here in about 5 minutes. So we just wanted to make sure there's nothing else we could help you with before.
Sounds great. Ross, thank you. Lorenzo, thank you. Ross, thank you. And thank you all for tuning in to WGAN-TV Live at 5. If you've missed any portion of today's show, we have recorded it, and we'll put it in the We Get Around Network forum by Monday. Thanks all. Good to see you. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Ross. Thanks for joining us.
Hey, one quick thumbs up. Everybody thumbs up. We got to get a thumbs up. Ross, got to smile. Smile.
Wow.
Okay, good. Thank you all. Okay.
Thanks.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.